Hello children, welcome to Edusat teleteaching program. Today we are going to discuss the first story of class 9 your textbook, that is the priceless gift, which is very interesting, but it is a sad story. You just look at the screen, you may find some gifts. So, people they present different types of gifts in different occasions. Have you ever heard when somebody dies after death, even some people they present gifts to the dead people. So, today we are going to discuss a very sad story in which you can see a sister how he is very interested, how she is eager to present a gift through another person and his brother is dead, right. So, you see in the screen, the first part in the screen you see, you may find different very interesting and attractive gifts, which are usually presented in different celebrations. Now, you see here a mother is also presenting, is gifting a gift to her baby by kissing it, right. And you see here in this picture, a father is giving blessing, that is also one type of gift for his daughter, right. And here you see a person, although the image of the person is not visible here, you just see the person is offering a gift, that is a bunch of flowers on the grave of a dead body. And in this story, the priceless gift, a loving sister who loves his brother, her brother very much, but her brother is dead, she does not come back home, and in that case the sister cannot reach the grave of the brother, but through a person the sister is presenting a gift, and which is a priceless gift, which cannot be compared with any costly prize, that is the most costly prize in the world, as the story writer said. Let us go to the story and read the story one after another, right. The priceless gift, the story has been, we have divided the story into 7 SCPs, 7 parts. There are 4 main parts in the story, but each part has been divided into sub parts, so that we can read easily and you can understand the story better, right. So, let us begin the story. You see the priceless gift, the first 2 paragraphs. I went to a vegetarian restaurant. It was lunch time. There are people eating and drinking. The restaurant was very crowded. I saw that some of the chairs and tables had been pushed into the corner. I chose the corner table, seated myself and started skimming through the newspaper. As she was going out, she asked the cashier in a low voice, "Is that gentleman an Indian?" So, you see the story begins with the pronoun I, and the setting is, the scene is a restaurant, right, and you can find some new words, maybe you do not know the meaning of those words. Let us find the meaning of those words first and then we will discuss the paragraphs, right. So, you see vegetarian, it is very common, all of you know, right, veg, non-veg you know, and you just see the meaning, made of only vegetables, right. So, a vegetarian restaurant, you see a place for meals, meals are prepared, meals are sold and people they eat meals here, and that is we call a restaurant, right. And there is difference between a hotel and a restaurant. So, in a hotel you can, there is provision for you, for the people to stay there, but here restaurant you can just buy food and you can eat their food. So, food or meals are prepared, they are sold, they are eaten in the restaurant, right. And another word is also crowded, you know the crowded place. Crowded means full of people, where many people they gather together, the place is called crowded place, right. And you see another word is scheming. So, sometimes we skim the newspaper very quickly, right. Skim means reading quickly, very quickly, just we fly our eyes, we move our eyes to get some important pieces of news, right. So, then another word is there, that is yes, to read quickly. So, vegetarian, made of only vegetables, different types of vegetables, we prepare food out of vegetables, right. Restaurant, then a place for meals where meals are prepared, sold and eaten, and crowded, full of people gathered at that place. And then skimming means to read very quickly. So, let us discuss the paragraphs. So, the story begins with a restaurant, a setting. You can imagine, you can close your eyes and you can see, if you have experience, if you have gone, if you have some experience, if you have ever taken food in the restaurant, you can find some people, they gather there, they take their meals, right. And the story begins with, you just see, the story begins with I. I means the writer narrates his experience, right. So, here the writer is one of the characters in the story. When we read stories, we should first see who are the characters and which is the place that event takes place, right. So, we should know at least 5 things. One thing, some characters are there, a place is there, a time is there, then again the cause of the event and result. You see, who are the characters? So, I went to a vegetarian restaurant, it was lunch time and the time was lunch time, right. So, people they go for lunch, there are people eating. So, writer is one of the characters, some people are there, and then you see, I saw that some of the chairs and tables had been pushed into a corner, right. So, sometimes we find if people are less, the number is less, the number is a small number, then sometimes the restaurant people, they actually what happens, they put their tables and chairs in the corner because it will be spacious, right. And that happens here in this story. So, I choose the corner table, seated myself and started skimming. So, the writer started reading very quickly, reading the newspaper very quickly, skimming through, right, means reading very quickly. And as she was going out, she asked, you see, the cashier in a low voice, is that gentleman an Indian? So, when we see, she was going out, means there is a girl, right, and the girl here, she is inside the restaurant and she has come to take her meal here, right, and she asked the cashier in a low voice, is that gentleman an Indian? So, characters, some people, the writer, the cashier and a girl, and the girl asked the cashier to know about the gentleman who was reading the newspaper, right. Let us go to the next part. So, I think so, the cashier replied. The girl looked at me once more and went out. It surprised me. Why? What was the matter? Her interest in me. So, it surprised me. Why? What was the matter? Her interest in me aroused my curiosity in her. When I had finished my lunch, I asked the waiter, do you know the girl who was sitting out there? No, sir. I noticed she has lunch here on Saturdays. She comes on payday only. Perhaps she does not earn much, right. So, let us see the new words, aroused, right, and the meaning you see, to become active, right. So, her interest in me aroused, her interest, the interest of the girl became active, right, and you see the next word, curiosity. Curiosity means you just see desire to know, that means my curiosity, my desire to know in her, that means I wanted to know, the writer wanted to know about the girl, right. And payday, payday, this is a common word which is usually used in the foreign countries, and the meaning is you see the day for paying wages. So, in the western countries, in England, this is a story from England. So, in England they have a payday in a week, and the workers they get together and they receive their pay, they receive their wages, and that is called the payday. So, the writer, when the cashier says the girl wants to know about you, the writer says I think so, the cashier replied, right. The girl looked at me once more and went out, it surprised me. So, when the girl left, she was leaving the restaurant, she looked at the writer's face, and actually that situation created interest, created desire in the mind of the writer to know about the girl, who is that girl, why she comes here, and she asked the cashier, and the cashier said, no sir, I noticed she has lunch here on Saturdays, only Saturdays she comes here, and that is the payday, right, comes on payday only, that is the payday. And here you see the hidden idea is maybe the girl is one of the workers. So, she is working and she is receiving wages, and on that particular day she comes to the restaurant to take her meal, right. So, let us go to the next part. I was moved by what he said. The curiosity I felt about the girl persisted. Why had she inquired about me? Who was the mysterious child? I kept thinking of her poverty striking, sad, anxious figure. Could I help her in any way? You just see which are the new words for you, persisted, and the meaning is you see continued. So, what continued? My interest, my desire, the writer says his desire, his interest to know about the girl continued, right. And the next word, that is mysterious. Mysterious, you see, full of mysteries, something which cannot be explained or understood. आमे जो कहूचे रहस्यमय, right. So, who was the mysterious child? से रहस्यमय पिलाटा किए? The writer wanted to know about that. Means the girl wanted to know about the writer, whether the writer is from India or not, and again she also at the time of leaving she looked at the writer's face, and this situation actually created interest or inquisitiveness, curiosity to know about that mysterious child, right. And the next word, poverty striking, that is the meaning is very poor, extremely poor. So, the girl looked like a very, very poor girl, right. And let us go to the next part. Let us go discuss the questions, and you can understand this part, these 2 or 3 paragraphs, small paragraphs. Where does the action or the scene take place? We have already discussed, right. The action or the event that takes place in a vegetarian restaurant, right, where people come to take their or to have their meals, and the time is you see lunch time. So, who are the characters described in the scene? And you can find the writer, the cashier, a girl, and some people, they are the characters described by the writer, right. Let us go to number 3. Where did the writer go? The writer went to a vegetarian restaurant, he has already mentioned it, right. And the next question you see, he sat in the corner table, what did he do then? So, sitting on the corner table, what did the writer do? And the writer, as you know, we have discussed, started skimming through the newspaper. He started reading the newspaper very quickly, he moved his eyes on the newspaper very quickly for some important news, right. Question number 5, what did he notice? What did the writer notice? The writer noticed a very young girl with sad expression, right. And what was the girl like? The girl was very, yes, very poor and young, right. And what did the girl ask the cashier? The girl asked the cashier whether the writer is that gentleman an Indian whether the gentleman means the writer was from India. Yes. So, let us go to question number 5. What did he notice? What did the writer notice? So, you see the answer, a very young girl with sad expression. So, the writer noticed, saw that there was a girl and the girl was very sad, right. So, question number 6, what was the girl like? And we have already discussed, the girl was very poor, right, with sad expression, and she was also very young, right. Question number 7, what did the girl ask the cashier? And the girl, you see, asked the question, is that gentleman an Indian? So, the girl asked the cashier to know about the writer, whether he was an Indian or not, right. And next question, why was the writer surprised? And the writer was very surprised that the girl asked about the writer, looked at him and went out. You see, so the girl asked the cashier to know about the writer and looked at the face of the writer and suddenly went out, left the place. This situation actually created interest in the mind of the writer, and the writer was very much surprised, right. And the next question is question number 9. What did the writer know about her from the cashier? What did the cashier say to the writer? You see, the cashier said that the girl comes every Saturday and takes her meal, and Saturday is the pay day in their country, right. So, next question, why did the writer think of helping her? So, why did the writer want to help the girl, right. And the writer thought of helping her because the girl was very poor. So, due to her poverty stricken and sad anxious figure, the writer was very kind and he wanted to help the girl, right. So, let us go to the next SCP, next part of the story, SCP-2 sense group paragraph, and let me read out the paragraph, you listen to first. I learned that her only guardian was her brother. The week passed, Saturday came again. I went to the same restaurant. As I entered, I saw her sitting at the same table as before. She was eating. I went up to her and took the chair opposite hers, right. So, you just see, I learned that her only guardian was her brother. So, the girl had only one brother, and the week passed, Saturday came again, and I went to the same restaurant. As I entered, I saw her sitting at the same table as before. She was eating. I went up to her and took the chair opposite to her. You see, I think there is no any difficult or new word which you may not know the meaning of the word, right. So, all the words may be very easy for you. So, the writer says he heard or he learned from the girl that the only guardian was her brother, right. And let us go to the next part. I wished her a good afternoon, and then by making one brief remark after another, I was able to start a conversation. At last she asked, are you an Indian? My brother is in India. He is a soldier. We have not had a letter from him for a long time. My mother is very worried. She is afraid something has happened to him, right. So, you see, I wished her a good afternoon, and then by making one brief remark after another, I was able to start a conversation. So, here conversation you see is a new, maybe a new word. Conversation means talk or dialogue, right. आम जो कथबार्ता होचे ताको कन्वर्सेशन बोली कहा जाए, राइट. नेक्स्ट, सी लिव्ड विथ हर ओल्ड widow mother, Mistress Bethy. I understood how she felt. I think she wanted me to see her mother, but she did not have the courage to ask me to accompany her home. We finished our lunch and got off together. As we walked, I asked her, may I know your name? My name is Maggie, right. So, my dear children, you see the name of the girl is Maggie. Now, you see some one or two new words, widowed, right, and the meaning is a woman whose husband is dead. So, whose husband is dead, a lady whose married lady whose husband is dead is a widow, right, and the widowed mother here. Widowed means the adjective here widowed is used at the adjective before mother, right. So, the widowed mother Mistress Betty. So, two names you see, one is Maggie, another is Mistress Betty. So, you can now find the two names in the story. You do not know the name of the writer. Now, the name of the girl is Maggie and the girl's mother is Mistress Betty, who is a widowed lady, right. So, you see I understood how she felt, and she wanted me to see her mother, but she did not have the courage to ask me to accompany her home. So, the girl wanted the writer to go to the mother's home or to go to their home, but the girl did not have any courage. She was not courageous, was not brave to ask the writer to go with him, right, with her. And we finished our lunch and got off together. As we walked, I asked her, may I know your name? And the girl said she was Maggie, right. So, next you see, we chatted pleasantly and soon reached a bus stand. This gave me opportunity of asking her where she worked. Do you usually go this way? I asked. No, she answered. I usually take the village bridge. It is being repaired at the moment, right. So, now you see chatted pleasantly, the phrase, and talked happily. So, they talked happily, the writer and the girl, they talked happily, right. And a new word, another new word, that is opportunity. You know opportunity, that is a easy word, maybe for some children, some of you it may be a new word, lucky chance, right. So, this gave me, here me means the girl, right. So, this when they started talking happily and they reached the bus stand, then this was a lucky chance for the writer to ask about the girl. Do you usually go this way? And I asked, right. I asked means the writer asked, and the girl said no, she answered, I usually take the village bridge. So, I usually take the village bridge, but I do not go by this road, right, the girl said, right. And let us discuss the question, so that you can understand this part which we discussed easily. So, question 1, did the writer meet the girl and where and when, right? Yes, in the same restaurant at the same time, lunch time, and next Saturday after a week, right. Question 2, why did he sit on the chair opposite to her? Because you see, he sat on the same table and he wanted to know about her. The writer actually sat on the same table and the writer wanted to know about her. That is why he sat on the opposite table to opposite table of her, right. What did he came to know about her brother, right? The writer came to know that her brother was a soldier in India and there was no letter from her brother for a long time. So, her brother has not sent any letter to his mother or to his sister for a long time, right. And why was her mother worried? The answer is, you see, the mother was very much worried because she was afraid something had happened to him. The mother suspected whether her son was alive or dead. She was in doubt. So, my dear children, I think you understand this part SCP 1 and 2, and in the next session we will discuss the rest of the story, right.